G'day, welcome back. I haven't been on for a live stream for some time, and I thought it's time for one that's due. And And it's not as easy as people think it is or understand. But I'm going to go through some fundamentals, explain what the situation is, and then you can plan around that. Look for key levels, key elements on the chart, and that way will help you make a decision on when to buy or when to get out or take profit. So my goal here is to just pretty much assist you in helping understand what's happening, and hopefully you appreciate it. And the people in my community I've been communicating, but putting on charts is not enough. People explaining it is much better. And so let's start. There's a few methods that we look at, and it's advantage to you if you know those methods or strategies. So I'll look from those perspectives, and obviously you need to have some basic understanding of chart terminology. And so when I do talk, hopefully you understand those terms, because it's not my role here to explain each one. If you do want to, if you're a newbie, you need to watch a few YouTubes, I suppose. And if you really are interested, go to my website. There's a free section where it does tell you little basic fundamentals, and even to intermediate levels, help understand charts. But anyway, that's the introduction. So let's start. So what we have from a big picture perspective, and I'll just cover that for those who are, you might see different perspectives. So here we have Bitcoin, and I try to illustrate a number of areas where we've got the tops and the bottoms, and what this feeds into, really. And it's up to discussion for a lot of people. You can look at this chart here, which is a wick off bottom, and it does do the job in many ways to explain the bottom here. So it does explain the bottom here, and I'll get the pen out. You can map that across. That equates to that. And there's two versions. The other version comes down to here. So we have the LPS, and that one pretty much does it. In this one covers this here, where it doesn't come down. It's that level. So right here is where we are right now for Bitcoin. I'll probably put black. Black's probably better. So just give me a sec. Someone's at the door, and I just got to click the parcel. Sorry about that. Okay, that was very quick. All right, so I can go pretty much into this detail, and well, let's get rid of some of this stuff. But yeah, basically, what I'm looking at is this lineup with this current phase here, and there's a lot of people that I believe agree with that analysis. So let's have a closer look. I'll just change the pen. That he pretty much hit a target, and that target has a lot of reasons why it's there. And if you look at my Fibonacci, if I move across to the right, you can see from the swing high, from there to the bottom, it's pretty much the 0.5 fib level. So you can see why we have resistance there. And if you do a volume profile, it equates to that as well. And you can see historically that was a resistance support. And so it is not an easy area to pass. At the same time, we have this level of previous resistance and, very important, support. And you can see my moving averages that come into this area as well, very strong. So I've got these two moving averages. I won't go into details, but they are also confluent with support. And from another perspective, it's also equate to a fib level, a support. So it's very strong. It makes up a strong case. So for that case, that fib level there I was saying, from the swing low to the swing high up here, we have that fib level there as support. Beautiful. So that's why it was hard to pass. And once we passed it, we don't want to see it go below it. The moment you see it below it, I worked out to be around 41k if it drops below that level. And what we want to see is pretty much ranging. I don't know how long it will range for, no idea. But you want to see volume coming up, and then up it goes. And then we have these other fib levels. We've got this level here, which is 49k, and the real strong one, which is about 51 to 52k. That is going to be a strong resistance, and you can see confluence there, and probably more along around here as well. So it's pretty clear how Fibonacci works. And so that is the big picture at the moment. So I've given you a critical level. If it drops below there, maybe even this Fibonacci, if it drops below that, I would say warning bells on this one here. And you might find some support, but the thing is, once it goes down there, it might just come down like that. And let me clean that up. And hopefully that gives you a good understanding on what's taking place. So the bottoming formation is taking place. Now, if you ask me what's my perspective and what's my understanding, I do believe that this is going to go up. All right. So this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from an hourly wave perspective. And then we'll potentially come down and maybe retest this area. And you can see historically when we hit something like that zone, we had our A, B, C retrace. So if we were to break above, don't expect too much to go up, and we'll have an A, B, C correction of some sort. And then either we regain, we retry to get past this, and if we don't, this area is going to be the rejection, and then we can potentially find a bear market. So this level has to be broken to become a bull market. And that's pretty much it. Until then, don't have too many expectations. Don't worry about the FUD on the news. This is at a critical level, and a big rejection. We should rally back up and try again and see how we go. But definitely, it's a sell-off position to take profit, especially for those whales that bought up here and bought up here. For them, it's going to make sense to take some profit there, and that's what happened down here as well. And then, of course, the bull market, and so on. So there is lessons from the past, and we apply those lessons here. When the time comes, we'll discuss it as to what's going on and how to. And in my community, I'll be talking about how to trade this, and it will be difficult, but hopefully I can do a good job like last time. Last time I did call this top, and the ones that paid attention would have saved some money. But I did not think I thought this was going to go up that way. So anyway, so that is everything up in the summary from a big perspective, and so far so good. Now, let's look at the bearish side as well, because you can't always. Okay, so you want me to zoom in a bit more? All right, maybe I would get the browser. Just give me a sec, and I'll zoom in. So I can understand. So you can get the numbers, and that's pretty much it. Now, if you really want a copy of this chart, I can share it, and you can get a copy. So I'll do that at the end. I'll put let's see if I got it here. Yep, I can share it there, and you can pretty much map it and get a copy. And that's it. So I'll leave it for one day for the people that looked at this, and hopefully helps you out. So if I was to look at now the other charts, these are different perspectives. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this one back and put that as the focus. Different perspectives. Yes. So we have this. Now from a channel perspective, you can also see perfectly. So, okay, let me do that. Resistance, support, support, and resistance. Pretty much roughly and in the middle of the channel. So we also like to see this break above and continue on. So that is a nice way of looking at it. From a so what's this? This is the 3-day. Let's look at the weekly first. And let me just maximize this. Whoops. Okay, so that's what we have. And I will just look at the indicators on the weekly basis. And I can probably delete that for a sec. And you can see from the RSI perspective, we are yet to go bullish. We are close to it, but from a weekly perspective, this was a good sign to come in from a weekly perspective. And similarly here, this was a selling perspective, as these are the moving averages on RSI. So when we look back, they do line up very well. So you can use that as a method. So if I was to just use those moving averages for taking profit on the weekly, and when the line crosses over for an entry, pretty much it. So this is what we're looking at. This indicator at the moment, the RSI, has not, and I dare say that if it breaks this level, this will pretty much break this trend line as well. We've got the MACD crossing over as well, so that's a bullish sign. It's not going to tell us how high it's going to go, but at the moment, everything is bullish, and the indicators on the weekly pretty much support that. Go to the 3 daily, pretty much we still haven't, the bottom MACD hasn't crossed over, but the RSI is above 50%, which is a bullish trend. And historically, if we were to look at the 3-day trend, again, very close, we haven't broken above. So basically we need to break this level, and that lines up with our previous chart. Okay, so that is just from an indicator perspective, everything is lined up perfectly. And if we get a rejection, if the MACDs cross over on the 3-day, that's not a good sign. So let's go to a 2-day, for instance, and let's have a look at that. 2-day, this line can't be used, as it's need to be shifted for the 2-day, and pretty much a bit more higher as well. This is slightly gone sideways, so it does reflect that. There's nothing to be told. The MACD is still looking bullish. And let's look on the 1-day, and so we need a bounce on the 1-day. We don't want to see the 1-day cross over. But this is where we've got to keep an eye on, the MACD. And now we've got the other tool that I want to use, the Phoenix. A bit more not reactive, more close to the time. And so right now, the green RSI is still above 50%. The momentum is almost above 50% on the daily. So far, yep, we're going sideways, but it's not bearish yet. Still have a chance there. So on the 1-day, it's still pretty positive, and there is nothing to fear, and pretty much it reflects the same when you look at it on the chart. Okay, so that's from an indicator perspective. Everything lines up well. Yep, you can see that the bearish momentum coming down, and this momentum indicator was in the bottom. We're almost above 50%. Let's look at the 12-hour for a sec, and that is looking better. That is definitely looking better with this indicator. So let's go to the other charts, and I'll look on the daily for a sec. Now, what I had yesterday with our group, we had this channel, and I was talking about various signs, and I did sell, took some profit, and I bought some other stuff as well. I'm not into Bitcoin at the moment. I flipped a bit of Ethereum into Bitcoin, which was a mistake because Ethereum bounced a bit more quicker than I expected. But anyway, this is the channel, and that was perfect right there. Perfect entry, and up it went. So we need to learn how to trade within the channel. You can see this Fibonacci on the 618 as acting as resistance. So let me just hide this for a sec. Now that is the issue we have right now. We need to see volume come in. We need volume to break this. So you can say on the 4-hour we need above 46,900. Until we get that, it's just going to go sideways, and potentially, and this is the concern I have. Let me just move this around, and I'll get that maximized. So this is the 4-hour chart, and we had a nice trend, as you can see. Now this trend is pretty much compromised with this bearish move to the support line, and we had a good nice pullback, but we didn't break this level. As you can see, that was the level that we need to break, and there was a bit of a rejection there, the wicks. And what it's done, give me a sec, I'll look at my notes for a sec. What it's done is pretty much, if you can see, we had a top and a second top. It's a double top. This looks like we don't want to see a triple top. If it's a triple top, right there is bad. If it's dropped below there, so yeah, so we don't want to see. So we had a double top, and we found the bulls coming in. So generally, the double top there would have pushed it down. Let's go back. Let's go in zoom. Let me get rid of that moving average for a sec. So the fact that it didn't. Why is this line so thick? Okay, that is a level there. So we can use that for the time being. Any 4-hour candle below that, which is about, I don't know, 45,600. We don't want to see a 4-hour candle below that, because that will start pushing the way down. I'm thinking at this point, yep, we have resistance, and I want to get it to white. We're having resistance there, but we could also have this as support, that top, because there's a lot of confluence that as being resistance, and now we've broken above it. So we might just bounce off it like that, but it might take time. So it's nothing for Bitcoin to do. Meanwhile, the other coins could start going, the alts. So there was a bit of a pullback for alts. A lot of the alts have actually hit targets, and I'll talk about that later with Solana and Ethereum. And so there is some conflicting information as to the alts, and this is the summary I have with Bitcoin at the moment. And those are the key things I can point out, that this level here is critical. If we lose that critical 4-hour level, if we have a 4-hour candle that closes below this, and probably won't give you a time. But if it drops below this, then we have this triple top rejection, and then it's going to go down. And we talked about that before as to where that could go. And if we were to use this method, it's potentially, there you go, we can probably go down to that level there or more if we were to break that level, especially if we break this level here. If we break that level, definitely we can go down at least to 41, mid 41k. And that's, so I'm giving the bearish perspective, and already giving the bullish perspective at the moment. So we're in a sideways position. Does this take any formation? It doesn't, not really. I can't relate to any formation that I'm thinking of at the moment, but that's pretty much it. And you can see by using this local height, we can potentially go to 50,700 in between the 1.414 to 1.618 fib extension, which has confluence with what I said before from support and resistance level on the macro level. So if things line up, if we break this, we've got nice upward momentum, and if we break this, we've got pretty much down. If it goes down, if it goes down this level, what it's going to do, it's going to make it hard. So this level we should not lose this level, because if we do lose this level and say, yep, we go down to 41, it's going to be resistance. And we can see another model kicking in and instead of this being ST in the B phase, if I recollect, give me a sec, we can have that last bottom test and up. Now, what supports, I'm not going to go into this too much detail, otherwise I'm just going to talk too much. If the time comes, we'll talk about it. But the Wyckoff model will pretty much show you that. What I subscribe to is Willy Woo's reports, and the on-chain data pretty much supports the fact that we are accumulation, and there's a lot of buying coming in, spot buying, and the futures also coming in as well. Now, while you're there, I'll do a quick demonstration on what that is. I'll just bring up a few charts. Okay, demanding view. Okay, that chart will give you an idea on how things are flowing out from the exchanges. So a lot of coins are flowing out. In the past, the outflow was a bullish indication, and the inflow is showing you pretty much a bearish indication, meaning coins are coming back into the exchange to be sold, and you can see where the climax is. So this chart historically is pretty good, and this was only a few days old. So from this perspective, the net flow is bullish. If we look at it from another perspective, demand and supply, again, the hodlers are just increasing. They're not selling. And there's a certain group I won't go into that this metric works on, but that's what we have there. And that's pretty much a quick summary from our on-chain data. What I do want to talk about is this here. Confluence with the Nasdaq and also the Ethereum, tether dominance. I use this regularly and as signs for understanding what the market's going to do. So on my top left, we have the SP 500, the top right, Nasdaq, which is the technology space, US dollar, bottom left, and tether dominance. So when we broke this level and broke this trend line, we had a good Bitcoin move. Historically, this was the hairline or the neckline for this area, which is pretty strong. resistance, and now we're finding support. So it's confluent. What does the US tether mean in dominance? It means if the dominance, and the way I read it, if the dominance drops, it means that it's being used up to buy crypto. If the cryptos are being sold off, then you will see tether dominance increase because they're selling off the crypto. So this historically has given me a lot of assistance into finding the top and bottom. So it's a good indicator. Um, I'm not going to explain too much about it, but that's pretty much it. You can investigate yourself what that means, where the tops and bottoms are, and how you work it out, aligning with Bitcoin, but it does help work. Now the Nasdaq, if we look at the Nasdaq, there's confluence in there with the same as the SP 500. What we don't want to see is a double top. So if we see a double top, hold on, give me a sec here. Then if we come down, I think Bitcoin will also drop as well. So we've seen, let's say, put the daily. The daily is probably better to work with. So you can see, just get rid of that for a sec. So 3 days of dropping, and Bitcoin pretty much went sideways, even dropped as well. And we had a nice bullish candle yesterday, and Bitcoin also rallied up. So it's in sync with the Nasdaq. So we don't want to see a micro double top here. As you can see with this moving average, and if I was to apply the Fibonacci, that this level from the Nasdaq perspective is acting as a resistance on the 618 and finding support not just only with this moving average that has historical support levels, but also the 0.5 Fibonacci. So the Nasdaq's ranging sideways, and so is Bitcoin as well. If we see the Nasdaq drop below this 0.5, I'm going to say that Bitcoin will probably drop more as well. So keep an eye on this. SP 500 is pretty much lined up with that as well. And the US dollar is going sideways in this range. So pretty much the broader markets are going sideways at this point, and Bitcoin's reflecting it as well. So you can see how general markets and crypto are aligned. So what I can do is I'll just save that and close it. And let me just see what's Bitcoin doing right now. Okay. It's not doing much, is it? Let's look at one more chart. What's called the total market cap. Yeah, so the total market cap is pretty much doing the same thing as well. Yep, got all these moving main moving averages, and if you look at it, we've got the 0.302. It's very similar to Bitcoin, aligned as resistance. And another perspective, we have this Fibonacci and this Fibonacci acting as support along with the moving average. So this is, it's still more to do with staying above than below. So the fact that it's ranging here, I would look at this as well, the total market cap, and this is the SOS from a Wyckoff perspective as well. So it's aligned. You can see that's previous resistance along there, and we've got that. So we're in a range, in that range as well, pretty much aligned. So we want to see it go up, and if it drops, we can see it drop down to this level here, I think, somewhere in between. And then anyway, that's on the cards as well. So the total market cap is aligned pretty much. And if we look at the RSI, at this point, it does look a bit bearish. So it's not the best, and probably explains why some of the alts are dropping. Now we can close that. Let's look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, just to see what's doing. Okay. So nothing's really concrete. So I had two levels here based on this, I suppose, this middle layer, and it is aligned with the Fibonacci's. And you can see the RSI, it's just popped below and it's gone back up. So Bitcoin dominance could find a bounce here, and the alt season will kick off if we drop this level. So looking at this and looking at the MACD, it's still towards the downside, pretty much. But you can see that there could be a bit of a bullish divergence being built up in the coming days. So this is the daily. So be careful. And it could mean a break to the upside or a break to the downside, either way. So I'm expecting something like that to go back up. I'm not expecting it to go down, but it can, obviously. The fact that it's gained that level. So if we just get rid of that scribble. So yeah, so if we look at that from the RSI perspective, make the lines a bit more accurate. It dipped below it and then it's regained. So on the daily, it's still looking all right for potential reversal. It's the threat's still there, and if we were to get a different, I suppose we can see something going that way or that way down. It's not conclusive, and so we need to check that. The moment you see it break either way, I suppose you will have an idea on which way you flip your coins if you need to. But I'll recommend that you look at them individually. So that's what I have from a Bitcoin dominance perspective as well. Not conclusive, in a range with some one green candle daily, and now we're looking at a red candle. Let's see. Come on, baby. That's looking good. Volume might be coming in. Let me just check this out. I don't want to talk too much about this because I'm not that familiar with it yet. This is open interest chart, and it gives us, so I'm still trying to develop my skills on this. And let's just do the 30 minutes. So what it does is it shows the orders coming in. So the blue bars are bullish orders coming in, and the red ones are pretty much sells. And you can see the numbers. This one's based on Binance futures, and at the moment nothing significant coming in. The numbers are on the bottom as well, but definitely in the green. So it seems like one or two orders are coming in, not too big yet, and so it's not conclusive yet to be excited. When there's dumps, you will see big numbers coming in, as well as pumps, and usually it's in the billion summary. So at the moment they're very small numbers. Volatility is very low, so it gives you an understanding of the numbers to expect. If you look over to the previous dump, for instance here, let's see, let's go to the 1 hour. Yep, there we go. So that's a billion there. 1.7 billion. So the dumps pretty much show you the volume of strength of coming down. And at the moment, there is no strength going up or down. But we have this slightly bullish divergence coming in. So I was speaking about this bullish divergence, but I'm not really good at it, but I'm trying to figure it out as much as I can. But it does give us some idea on what's taking place. All right, now I'm open to questions. I'm going to look at Ethereum next. And Ethereum is looking bullish, pretty nice. Ethereum had a very similar scenario, but in the opposite direction. I use this swap tool, which gives you average price for volume, and it was perfect for the buying that dip. And this middle layer is where I see in the short term very strong. Now let's look on the daily for Ethereum. It's very similar to Bitcoin. So let's just get some of this, rid of some of this stuff. So when we look at this, so I did a WAP from the top to the bottom, and this was a very strong level, and it was also aligned with this trend line. And so it didn't really come to test this moving average, and that moving average was, what is it, the 50 weekly. So the 50 weekly is our means of measuring Ethereum from a macro perspective. And the bottom, you can see the bottom, what's this one here? That's the 500, okay. It's just coincidental that in the past, that was when these lines crossed over, that became bullish. So at the moment, it's still above. So the orange and the grey, when they cross over, a bullish signal, and ever so slightly, we got crossover. So on a moving average perspective, it was bearish. Now we're trying to see that bullish perspective. So if I would just clean that all up, it's not quite there. We want to see this just a bit more to crossover on the daily for that confirmation. Now Ethereum, if we were to look at it, actually I'll just get rid of some of that stuff. All right, so I've already done, no, I don't want to do that. I've already done the chart from a macro perspective. So the 1.414 was our target, pulled back. And what we can do is get that. And you can see our support level for Ethereum. I'm just reading this one comment. Back to the wick-off pattern. Have you considered that BTC is forming inverted wick-off pattern at weekly timeframes? Well, we'll get back to that. There is many possibilities for the wick-off, and we can talk about it right towards after this one here. I suppose we can talk about it. But you can see from a Ethereum perspective, when I did the swing low to the swing high, or ever so slightly, just a bit more down, you can see the 618 is already been acting as support, or the 1.272. So this Ethereum is performing much better. It's still the SOS stage as well. If we get rid of this, you can see if we apply the wick-off alignment as well for accumulation. Now, the question was asked, can you see as a reverse inverted? The reason why I'm saying it's a reversal or accumulation is the on-chain data. So yes, you can look at patterns, but your on-chain data suggests it's accumulation. So that is the additional edge that you need besides just looking at charts and moving averages. You need extra information. And so that's why I subscribe to Willie Woo's reports. And what I do, if you're interested, I have a bot, and Where is it? Exclusively Bitcoin reports from not just Willy Woo, but from other perspectives as well. And if you want to get access to this report, it's not much, and it will save you a lot of headaches. Or you join my community and you get the same thing. But if I was to do that, I'll put it out there. That's the bot I have. I'm going to put it in the comments stage. For those who are interested, join that Telegram bot, and you'll do you a big favor. Tell you that. And basically, what we'll talk about, it's reports to my website, which is a comprehensive Bitcoin report, and sometimes with on-chain data and Bitcoin, as well as at times Ethereum. But that's a plug-in. Join that. It's $10 a month. I don't think it's that expensive, and I think it will give you a lot of comfort. So using this accumulation, I do see this going up. Obviously, the next fib level is probably the resistance, and there's a few ways of working out when it's topped. But at the moment, I'm using this chart as well, which is the Bitcoin, it's Ethereum Bitcoin pairing. So at times it's become very useful, and in our group we talk about, and I actually posted this yesterday, so you can have a look at it. And if I was to just change the background color, it'd probably help out a bit. Yep, probably not. Give me a sec, guys. I might just do black. Or that one. That's probably a bit better. So when you look at, you can see how I've mapped out the accumulation stage of Wyckoff. This is the SOS Bob stage. So I do see this as being support, and then breaking up to the next resistance up there from an Ethereum Bitcoin pairing perspective. So I've gained about 30%. I think what was a percentage? I've done that one recently, so I'm 6% up on Bitcoin really by just flipping to Ethereum, and I think I did the majority. I did the majority down here, so 12% more Bitcoin advantage to me. So I'm pretty much mostly in Ethereum at the moment, and at times when I think there's resistance, I'm going to continually flip from Ethereum to Bitcoin for that portfolio to make sure I get more gains as Bitcoin goes up, and Ethereum will go up better, and this is the proof. And when it comes down, I will flip most likely when Ethereum starts dropping against Bitcoin to hold on to those advantages I had. So this is what I see at the moment. I do see this. Actually, let me try one thing in a sec. I'm going to just delete all this. Yeah, so I do see it going a bit more higher to that level at least. So it's using the one as a suppose support, and you saw that previous chart, so that's all good. And I do see Ethereum pretty much finding a target somewhere around here before a major resistance. I think that's where we complete our wave 5, and then ABC correction, and then potentially back up again. But that's where I'll start taking a lot of profit for Ethereum against Bitcoin. Now, guys, got any questions with any other charts? So if not, I will continue on. One of my favorites at the moment, and in our group, I won't say my group, our group, is Glimmer or Moonbeam. And we did well, I did well. And we talked about this accumulation. We had this, so I was very fortunate enough to buy this last bottom just below $2. And I was going to buy more if it dropped more. And I wish I bought a whole lot there. It came back down again, second time. and I did buy along the way up, just continuously accumulating, and I got the benefits from that. So Glimmer is a new coin which is part of DOT. I signed up for the project, and also so I'm going long term. So this could be, I missed this section, but this could have been the lowest point ever for Moonbeam. But time will tell. Based on this type of structure, if we are going to have a bull run, then I'll be looking at roughly this level above $10. And if it was a proper bull run, yeah, back to $15, $20, even more. If you look at previous projects that are released, they do fly. And the question is, what's Bitcoin going to do to influence that? So keep your eyes on Moonbeam or Glimmer. It's a worthy project for DOT. It's a production site for Moon River. Now let's go to Solana. I do believe Solana has hit a local top, and it's done a good run. Right now it's on the 0.5 Fibonacci level from the top to the bottom. And if we were to do the swing high to swing low, you can see it's also the 1.618. And that's why it's pulling back a fair bit. And I did take some profit. It might just go, so this is probably wave, on the macro level, could be wave 3 to 4. It could also be a local top, and it could, depending on what Bitcoin does, it could potentially come back down here. So it is aligned with the wick-off as well, and it's actually trying to go above it, and so I'm looking at the 618 level, which is $164 potentially. The question is, how much is it going to pull back? So it's already pulled back a fair bit there, hit that 1.272 level, perfect. So if that's wave 3, and it could do that, wave 4, and then look at wave 5. And then this aligns with my bump and run strategy, and if it comes back down, I do see that happening. I'm not saying it's going to go down that low, but it makes sense that this, if that's the target, it aligns up with a big macro. And if you look at Bitcoin in the past, it's done that. So if you look at Bitcoin 2017 top, 2018 bottom, it hit the 618 level, pulled back, and then done a big run. So Solana is looking good in the coming years, year to years. Just got to be aware of this, guys. Don't be biased. Look at the chart, look at the levels, and just take profit where you think you should, and buy the dips where you think you can. But Solana is an Ethereum killer, I say. Not yet, but it has a lot of potential. So I just want to make the most of it. So that's at the moment. If we look at it from a small time perspective, actually, I'll give you a tip here. Where is it? This 200 moving average was pretty much the trend. Was it 30 minutes or? Okay, it was a 15 minutes. And what we've seen so far is a local, we had that local breakdown. So we had a top, and it can be a potential shorting opportunity. So I do think this is a local top. Like I said, it's a 618. This can be a shorting opportunity, even more so around here. So if price comes down there, and if we look at the bigger time frame, There's a few dynamics that we need to look at, but definitely this can be, so you can see that's a neckline, and this can be a shorting opportunity. Right now, there's not much to say that's the case because the candlesticks aren't giving it. You can take your chances, but that could be a shorting opportunity. That is, let's have another look over here. Okay, so the 618, definitely the volume could come up to there. Okay, so yeah, it's a risk that you take. At the moment, there is no bearish candle. Let's look at the 4 hour. I'd like to see a rejection on the 4 hour. At the moment, there isn't. It's small, but it's showing that it could be a rejection area. And as I said, that is a local top from the Fibonacci perspective, 1.618. Bearish candle. There could be a double top of some sort, and then a bit more down. So I sold some, a bit higher, and I'll consider going short. All right, that's that. SNX, very similar. It's very similar. So you can see how things are coming together now. What I could be a bit bearish for Bitcoin or the alts, more so the alts. And we looked at the Bitcoin dominance and where we think Bitcoin could bounce in the Bitcoin dominance. It's because a lot of the coins have hit their target from a local perspective. And yeah, a bit of a pullback and then potentially move up. So the alts are way ahead of Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin is at this phase where the alts, like this one, is already done its target. So I did think this was going to hold, but it's not the case. And just be careful to make sure you take your profits while you can, especially these type of scenarios. So I've covered Solana, and this was the chart I was talking about. It was a nice. So I took profit because of this trend break. As soon as it broke that trend, it was a good spot to take some profit. I took 30%, I think it was. So now I've got to consider it. And you can see how that could act as resistance. Still got a bit of upward momentum, so all right. I think it could get rejected soon on the 15-minute. There we go. And I missed it. That was what I was looking for. Comp. So comp was looking like it hasn't quite broken that level yet, but I missed an entry. So that's the resistance. Anyway, that's a risk that you take. Yeah, that was a good opportunity. So that bullish green candle there, if you enter that, you had a bit of advantage there. But anyway, that's what I got for now. That's it, guys. Unless you got any questions, I'm going to wrap it up. I think we've covered enough. Hopefully, it helps you understand what's taking place. And please give me a like and come and join our community. In my profile, we've got the Discord, we've got the Telegram that we're using both. More details in the Discord and less in the Telegram. And the last bit, if you're interested, my website. Here, there's a free course. Don't have to sign up, just click on it. This is basically introduction, all the elements on the chart that you need to understand. I go through them all, and for the beginners, it's definitely a good place to start. And for intermediate, it does give you some advantages, how to take profit, how to work out profit areas, and so there's some videos there that you can follow through and explains. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I'll wrap it up. Thanks for joining me, and I'll do it probably next week, and